time for, you guessed it, Island Tea. Hey.
Oh, it's Island Tea again. Yay! What's going on? It's good morning to everybody. Good morning. I just want to leave a quote this morning. Peace begins with a smile. Peace begins with a smile. So I'm encouraging persons as much as they can to smile regardless of the fact, regardless of what we're going through. Just offer a smile. Just think about something positive. Think about something that would generate that smile and that authentic smile. So many things are going on right now, Jamster, especially in St. Kitts and Nevis. Yesterday when we were here, I think we spoke about the escalation in the number of homicides. Just yesterday afternoon, we heard that someone else was shot and died as a result. I think that there is to be a police press conference today, if I'm not mistaken. And there was a short address by the Prime Minister yesterday, sometime I think about 4 p.m. There was a short address where he indicated, I think, but he mentioned about they having a police press conference. And we know that I got news through the social media that the Honorable Timothy Harris, he has put out an address to the nation on the upsurge in violent crime activity in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so the leader of the People's Labour Party has issued a statement as it relates to it, a video. We know that the leader of the People's Action Movement has also issued a video last evening as well in relation to a video statement in relation to what is occurring. And so many persons are now speaking about it, speaking about the issue that we have here in St. Kitts and Nevis with the escalation of crime. It's something that many of us on the streets, when you go on the streets, you hear persons talk about, and it's something that we can't get around because the rapid escalation in the number of homicides it's really something to be of concern. We had 2 on today is Wednesday, so we had 2 on Monday and then 2 on Tuesday, and of course it seemed to be not something that seemed to be random. It seemed to be that there is something behind it. And so we pray for our nation, pray for St. Kitts and Nevis. I know a lot of persons have been, asking the government to hear from the government. I know that based on, we've reached number 16 now, if I'm not mistaken. And it is only yesterday did we, get a little message from the Prime Minister. And so we are hoping that more can be done. We are hoping that there could be more assurance that, something is going to be done as it relates to this. Of course, we're not saying that the government is the cause of it, but of course the government has an obligation that in moments of crisis that they are obligated to ensure that the citizens feel protected within the state. And so that is what we are urging the government to do. We are urging the government to stand up and to put words into action and to try to come up with policies, try to come up with programs that would, at this point in time, arrest the situation and try to see as much as possible, given the resources that they have, what they can do in terms of coming to some sort of solution to what we are facing. Because again, it appears to be gang related, and it appears to be not just random. And so we are urging, the powers that be to not only speak with words but to act with actions. Jamster, how are you doing this morning? Oh, Candisie said that she has a previous appointment, and so she won't be able to come in during the 8 o'clock, but we're hoping to have her throughout. So what do you think about all that's happening?
Well, just say all the candy face lovers, don't cry. She'll be here with us soon, at some point. Your question?
The we have a situation here where we got the escalation in crime, homicides. We had 2 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday. Now it's Wednesday. We had a brief word from the Prime Minister yesterday. We've heard from the
Yeah, but how long does it have to be, really? I mean,
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it was brief. It
Mhm.
was, let's be fair here. Come on. I mean, let's be fair.
Be fair.
I mean, talking for half an hour is not
Mhm.
going to change anything. I
Mhm.
mean, he got to the point. As long as he gets to the point
Mhm.
and says what he's going to do,
Mhm.
that's
What
fine.
did he say he was going to do?
Hmm?
What did he say he was going to do?
Well, he laid out some of the things that they were going to do.
Mhm.
No, you see, you have to understand with me, right?
No, I'm just asking.
I am Tony used to call me an equal
Mhm.
opportunity critic.
Mhm.
I am a fair person,
Mhm.
right? I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna tell you what I don't like, but I'm also gonna tell you what I like, and I'm fair. You said brief. I don't know what that means. What do you mean by brief?
No, it was. I think the length of the video was like 7:50, and about 2 minutes of it was just waiting for him to come.
Come on, Azard now.
No, that isn't brief, Jamster.
It's brief, but you're saying brief as though, I mean, brevity, less brevity, more
Did I
brevity
say that?
is
I
gonna
said
be,
I
mean,
said it was a brief statement. Is 5 minutes a brief statement?
5 minutes. Yeah, it's a brief statement.
Okay, so where's the untruth?
I'm not saying it's untrue, but you said brief. Or what?
Okay,
what
it's
is
a brief statement. He
Well,
gave a brief
brief.
statement.
Yeah.
He didn't give a long
You see,
statement.
Azad, you have to remember with your position, you have to be very careful
What
how you
position?
couch your words because you're wearing two hats here. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it should be one hat.
Let me
I mean,
ask
when
you-
you're
no.
doing this show, it should be
Let me
one
ask
hat,
you a
not
question.
two.
Let me ask you a question,
Yeah.
Jamster. Is 5 minutes brief?
5 minutes is brief.
Okay,
It depends.
so it was about 5 minutes
Yeah,
in terms
okay.
of talking time.
Mhm.
So we can conclude that is brief then.
Yeah, it's brief. But,
Okay.
but you see, we
So
get
we don't need to
sidetracked.
belabor the points.
Right, exactly.
So let's just move on,
yeah,
Jamster.
let's move on.
It was a brief statement.
It was a brief statement.
Okay, correct.
Well, my point was, because whether you intended it or not, it sounded like you were saying.
I said it was a brief statement. You also agreed with me that 5 minutes is a brief statement. So I don't see why we have to have the back
Yes,
and the
but
forth.
he got to the point.
Okay.
You know how politicians, I mean, come on. You know how you guys are. You guys love to talk, love to hear yourself speak.
I
right?
said it was a brief
And-
statement.
And
You agree that 5 minutes is a brief statement.
I actually think most
So
of the...
why are we going over
I
and
know,
over
I know.
it?
But I actually think most of the global warming is due to politicians talking and not doing anything.
Okay, that's beside the point now, Jamster. We all agree that it was a brief statement. So I don't think
Yeah, it was a brief
that
statement.
issue is one in dispute.
Mhm.
So we could continue. Okay, so how do you feel about what's going on?
Well, it's this, it's disheartening, and I don't want to personalize it in the sense that, because I find it's easy. Human nature makes it easy to suddenly get more emotional and more energy about things because you know the person, and to me, that's not how we should work. Any human life, whether you know them or not, is precious and should be protected, should be treasured. And not because I know OJ, I'm suddenly gonna. I don't feel. I mean, yes, I feel a way because I knew him. I mean, I don't know if I told you guys yesterday, but I remember about 2 months ago, somewhere we were talking, we were hanging out talking, and he was there. We were there for like maybe a good hour talking. And he's always been a cool guy, but. And it's not, I don't want to make it about him in the sense that, because it speaks to a kind of selfishness that we have and to bring it back to the politicians, I always say that a lot of things would change if some of these things that the citizenry complain about happen to the politicians' family or close friends. And it shouldn't be like that, really, I remember I used to say, I had a friend whose boyfriend got killed. One of those rocks came down off the old road, and I remember telling her the same thing I just told you. You want to bet that would probably get fixed in a heartbeat. Let one of those rocks come down and hit their vehicles or kill one of their family members. You see how quick they fix Old Road Bay.
Yeah, I remember that story.
Yeah, but I'm just it's very sad, and I really feel like the government should keep the same energy across it. All of us should keep the same energy, not just because it's someone we know. All of those people, every single one of those people who got killed, whether I know them or not, it's tragic.
Well, we are trying here to have a program aired with with inmates. We did that just recently, where we had inmates speak about their experience and talk about, discouraging persons from going on that road. And it's something that we sat here, Candy and I, and management also made the suggestion that we could have them in more often, and that's something we want to do.
Yeah.
Yes. We have a caller.
Caller.
Live.
Okay. Yeah, we did have a bunch of calls coming in while we spoke. So.
Yeah. So to have them in, because I think that conversations need to be had at some point in time between those who might not be down, for lack of a better term, the straight and narrow, and those, Caller?
I think what you were asking me. Okay, caller, go right ahead.
Hello, good morning, gentlemen.
Hey,
Good morning.
Okay, Jamster, I realize that you would not accept Azard comments with the Prime Minister's speech was very, very, you don't want it too very, but, sorry, you don't want not too brief. Well, I'm going to say it a different way. His speech was very short. Is that okay? Hey, Jamster?
Yeah, that's fine. No, but I think what Azard was implying was that maybe the brevity, the gravity of the situation didn't warrant the brevity. That's the impression I was getting. But I'm thinking for practical purposes, I disagree, because if he comes and he comes to the point and he says what he's gonna do about it, that's fine enough by me. Let's see what happens afterwards.
Let me come back in here now. He come to the point you say, and he said what he gonna do about it. But the amount of a killing we got in the space of 24 hours, his speech should have been much longer, with advising those negative people in the committee what they should not be doing. Well, let me say something here from up top. Mr. Robert Lowell in Bradshaw, we never heard him said any inciting comments. Mr. Southwell never did. Mr. Limo never did. Mr. Simmons never did. Dr. Douglas, he did. Dr. Harris never did. And I never heard Mr. Joe with that either. But people are looking on and listening. Someone told Mr. Joe, since he took over the Labour Party leadership, that he should sit down with the then Prime Minister, which was Dr. Harris. And they should have, conversation, how to deal with the country forward. And you know what he said? He don't want to have nothing to do with Harris. What is that showing to those negative-minded people? If he is in a leader's position, and he gonna say those kind of utterance to the nation, what I tell the younger one them? No, you can't do that, because children learn from the elders and the parents. And if they say St. Kitts is a Christian society, why should he want so many police guarding he instead of deploying the police them in the communities so they can observe for themselves and detect where is a hot spot for these criminal activities? And for the activity, like I said, what is taking place with these homicide, innocent people.
Yeah, but
all of them who get gunned down, they're innocent.
But the Prime Minister's protection, it's a separate issue from the crime issue. We can walk on through.
Hold on.
It's not it's a false choice. It's not a either or. I mean, he has protection because listen, you have to give.
No. Listen. Let me say something here, right? Because I don't want my money run out.
Go ahead. I
mentioned all those former leaders. They lead the country the same position that he is in now. All of them may have a driver But why he want more? I wouldn't call the numbers, but a load of police around he want. And then again, all the members of cabinet have a police guarding them in a Christian society. Come on, man. Let's be fair with that.
Yes, but we have, we have a bunch of killings in a Christian society too. What's your point, culture? Culture, you know me and you.
Listen,
good,
let
but
me
come
tell
on.
you something. Let me tell you something. Listen me now. I can break them down. The police them supposed to be deployed in the communities to observe and check out where the negative people are. Listen to them, watch them good. Not all them police they deploy one place. So when so many police deploy one place, there are places lacking of police presence. Okay, that's enough for now. Other people might want to come in and say that. I mean, and say what I have to say.
Okay.
But I talking like how I see it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
You know I love you.
Thank you for your contribution, Culture. Thank you for your contribution.
Okay,
and Wayne.
so-
And do we have another caller?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. I see the point that he was making in the
Yeah,
end. He's
that last
basically
point.
saying, and we're not saying that the Prime Minister and members shouldn't feel protected, but he said the same way they feel protected, the other citizens should have that assurance of
Absolutely.
presence of protection. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't know. It seems as the person now. Okay. So keep your calls coming. 466-0989, 662-0989, and 762-0989. We got complaints last week that we were giving out the numbers.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Perhaps you could put it on the screen or something in the future where people could
It
see the
used to
number.
be actually. I remember it used to be when Azard and them did it. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know why they took it down. Okay.
Yeah.
Caller, go right ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Yes.
Hey.
Not a good place to be in at all.
At all.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's good that everybody is coming out. At least we're on the same page in terms of realizing that this is abnormal and it needs, you can't be, just swept under the carpet or covered over. You got to deal with it. But that is as far, I think, as the commonality in purpose ends. Because what I heard in terms of all the responses were political posturing as well. Okay? One of the things, first of all, that was highlighted, and Azard, I think you did it in your live as well.
Mm-hmm.
You said that they abandoned the peace program. The Prime Minister said that it did not. Okay, are you saying that he's lying? What exactly? You see, we're not on the same page, right? As far as I know, the peace program was not abandoned. But
let me ask you a question.
Let
me ask you a question, Mr. McMahon. Has the Prime Minister indicated that in early address that the peace program is the reason why we're here today? The former peace program?
What do you mean? That the peace program caused the situation?
Yeah. Do you recall him saying that at any time?
I can't say that I have. He might have. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember him saying that. But I do know. I can ask you one question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the peace program solved the issue of the criminality that we have now?
I think that during the time last year, with how the peace program is, and I said during my life as well, it's not just about throwing cash at the issue, at the situation. It's also about consultation. I know that based on behind the scenes and persons who will have dealt with the program, that there seemed to have been a sort of consultation between members involved in the committee and those who were parties to crime. And so there seemed to have been some sort of consultation, and it appears that maybe that level of consultation isn't there anymore.
Yes, but that is a far cry from saying that the peace was abandoned.
He
categorically said that it wasn't, right? So we should start with facts first.
But
okay?
Mr. McMahon, do you know for sure that it is how it was before happening now?
I don't know.
Okay.
And you don't know either.
But then,
and interestingly enough,
Mr. McMahon, before you go on,
Mr. Grant, even Mr. Grant when asked about it, said he ain't know nothing about it. Mr. Brantley himself said that it's a federal program. He can't give information on it.
I think
right?
when Mr. Well,
you don't know it.
So
what I'm saying is,
okay, Mr. McMahon, before you go on, let me get a point in, no man.
Okay, go ahead.
When Mr. Grant said that, because will have been a part of his team in number 4, when he said that, he meant in terms of the money and the allocation and the money and where it was coming from and those sort of stuff. Not that the program, he didn't know about the program existing. So I think that was perhaps...
Wasn't that the controversial part of the program, though?
It was. And what I'm saying, and I said it in my address, is not about just throwing cash. You're just thinking about it from the cash aspect. I'm talking about the consultation, and it appears to be that the level of consultation that was done before isn't there now. And we had key persons who would have been part of the consultation process who aren't there now. And so that is why there has been an alteration, because there are different players now. I don't know if there's consultation. It does not seem like there's consultation.
Of that lack of consultation,
I think
the result?
I'm not saying that's the main result, but it could be a contributing factor, because that's something that has now not been there, and you see some escalation. Again, in my address, if you realize, I said that, it is not for government to be blamed. It's a multifaceted approach, but programs should be put in place to address any deviant behavior. And so in the address too, because you're just focusing on the peace program, so if you're going to bring the address also mentioned the implementation of programs that would assist in curbing the problem. And so we are looking forward to addressing and the implementation of effective projects. If you're saying that the peace program didn't work, then it is for government to create a program. And if you say it's not abandoned, then something else is the issue, and it is for government. The obligation is on government to ensure that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis are protected and feel protected. That is the role of government. Okay.
And beyond that, because those sorts of interventions, the social interventions and so on, are long term. Okay, they're not going to yield immediate results.
Of course, and I agree with that.
What we're concerned with right now is that this ends.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
And therefore, this, I think, involves a more robust law enforcement input.
Yes, Mr. McMahon, and the law enforcement is an arm of the government. And it is for the government through law enforcement, because the police is a part of the government, the police is a part of the state, the police is a part of the executive, not the cabinet executive, but the larger executive, that should be able to address this problem. And so the minister, the prime minister being the minister of national security, should be meeting with the police officers.
Should be trying to... He's doing that. Right,
well,
and remember, you said there's a press conference this sometime
yes, I
today.
indicated that, and of course,
police or
police. So
okay.
That's what I'm saying. The prime minister is the national security minister, in conjunction with the police force, with the resources, should be trying to come up with solutions to address this problem that is immediately problem, and that is what I'm talking about. Okay.
We can't go on like that. I would hope, if it's a press conference, that they'll at least give some information as to whether these murders are related or random.
But one of the things that bothers me is if the Prime Minister says that the peace program has not been ended, well, that just muddies the water. So, if it's not ended, what's going on?
Well, let me say this, right? I mean, persons could make statements. I'm not saying that.
Someone could
say, I know. He could say that the program has not ended, but it doesn't mean that the program has not been modified. It doesn't mean that the program hasn't been changed. It does. So I could say
semantic games.
So it's a matter of language. You understand?
Exactly.
I could say that. Well, we haven't ended going to the school, but maybe we're not going to the school 3 times. Maybe we're going once. Maybe we're not going 3 times a day. Maybe we're going once a week. Do you understand? But in essence, it has not ended.
The word that is being bandied about is abandoned, and that is what I thought was wrong, to use that word abandoned.
But we could use...
Okay, let's use... Say that they would modify, they would change the program, because as it was, like I pointed out, there was no accountability, right? Nobody knew, or very few people, a select few, knew exactly what was going on with it, how it was being managed.
Okay, so if
You
we're
know,
going
all
to...
the,
Okay, Mr.
all
Mark.
the politicians were saying the same thing.
Yes,
There, you know.
yes. And so if the issue is accountability, then accountability to me could be easily addressed while the program still run. Don't you think? Because if it is that you're saying that, well, we don't know about the funds and everything like that, you're now in government, you could easily get control of the funds and where they were coming from. I mean,
And where they were going.
and
yes.
where they were going this 9 months now. So if the
Right.
issue is one of accountability, you had 9 months to fix that accountability issue. Now we are talking about the implementation issue. You understand? And the implementation issue might be one of the factors that has led us here. It might be, I do not know. We only could go based on the inferences, and we only could go based on the circumstantial evidence before us.
Well, we'll know, I hope, from the police press conference. Like I said, I'm almost hoping that they're all related and not that it's a random thing, because the random thing is more concerning.
I think that is more related. It seems
affects
so.
everybody.
It seems that it's more related at this point in time, because if you look at the pattern, it seems more, and again, I don't have all the inside information. I'm looking from an outsider's perspective, but using my rationale, it seems to be...
But one of the things you said in your life was that it should not be confined to a constituency. I understand what you were trying to say, but if it seems that this latest spate is in a particular constituency, then shouldn't the focus be on that? Shouldn't the focus be there?
But you see, yeah, I mean, the crime has happened in a particular constituency. It was in relation to what the Prime Minister addressed, that is Central Bastille. But we know that persons, even though it's in Central Bastille, we have family members across St. Kitts and Nevis. And so even though the killing is happening in that one central area, so to speak, it affects us all throughout the country, because we're all related. We're only 50,000
yes, I know
people,
that.
And very small square
but in
miles.
terms of allocating resources, don't you think, since it's in that area right now, that everything should be thrown to in that area? We're not having the problem in Keon or St. Paul's or Sandy Point. It's in a particular area. So doesn't it make sense to throw everything at that particular area?
Well, let's say this, right? Now. In terms of criminal activity and homicides, it's done by people. It might be people of a particular area, but that doesn't mean that the persons in that area can't move across. So we have to ensure, even though we're addressing that particular area, that the entire country feels at peace. And that is what the address was about, that we all feel at peace, regardless whether we're in Sandy Point, because I am told that it seems as though one of the persons who might have been killed, one of the persons who was killed might have been from Sandy Point, in a conversation that I had just yesterday while in Sandy Point. And so that's what I'm saying. We don't know where these persons are from, so to speak. They could be from different parts of the country, but just that it's happening in one area, or seem to happen in one area, but we don't know where all the other persons are from.
Okay. Well,
even though because people move around. I mean, you could be from this area, but it doesn't mean that you're not.
Too much of a coincidence, though.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that it seemed to be from the area? It's concentrated in Central Bastille. But what I want you to do is not just think about only Central Bastille is affected.
No, the long-term social interventions, yes, of course, must be the whole country. But this particular upsurge over the past few days seems very targeted, very concentrated in one place, in a particular area. And so I think the police should respond to that. Throw all kinds of resources in that particular area, to try and at least nip it in the bud. Yes, it has been, there has been an upsurge for a while now. And by the way, I don't agree with this thing about what was happening before was responsible for the lower numbers, right? Because remember, we had COVID intervention.
Let me add another call. Rather than getting rid of you, I'll just add another call.
Sure.
Or you call, go ahead.
I think that it's the police.
Yes, good morning, guys. How you guys doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ira, you there?
Yeah, man. This conversation. man, great
Oh.
conversation,
I
man.
think Ira dropped out.
You know, I would say that the Prime Minister's, you know, statement was brief yesterday as well. But how much more longer you want it to be for him to be effective? You know what I mean? You know, how much can he do at this time? You know, we're just looking for temporary relief. And the statement from him saying that the peace program was not abandoned, I believe that was targeted to the gangsters directly, you know. But you know, here we go again. We just, you know, we need to continue this conversation, and you know, we need to just get the solutions.
Agreed.
But,
I agree with the solution.
You know, if this is concentrated only in one area, right, then they should deploy more police, you know, for the presence to be felt in that particular area, and as a deterrent. You know what I mean? You know, police presence can make a difference. You know, but you know,
I agree to an extent.
I
They should
believe,
probably put more here.
I believe one of the things that some persons who you know, commenting, you know, who might seems like they're politicizing this stuff, you know, they probably feel like the former prime minister, you know, when the government changed, they should have consulted with the previous administration, and you know, whatever tweaking they wanted to do with the peace program, you know, they will have like, you know, some type of dialogue between, because seeing like government is continuous. You know, we're not saying that, you know, this administration has abandoned the peace program, but some people are looking for the details. They want to know the intricacies of, you know, what's going on with the peace program right now. But they're probably looking for consultation, you know, between this prime minister and the old prime minister to see how they could have all hands on deck and how they could, you know, push the peace program forward, you know. But that's my little contribution for now, man.
Okay.
But, you know, we'll see what happens.
Caller, go ahead.
I'm listening. Thanks.
Okay, great.
Thank
Caller,
you so
go
much
ahead.
for your contribution.
Go-
Good morning,
Hey.
everyone there.
Good
The
morning.
panel.
How are you doing?
Yeah, we have trouble on the hand, Lord, trouble on the inside, trouble on the outside. Yeah, we need to handle this thing much better than that. I'm agree with what Mr. Culture was saying, and what everybody was saying before me. Yeah, him the gentleman there, Mr. Manners. Yeah, man, things getting out of hand. I don't know really peace. Ain't that, you know, it's about money, you know, because they're still getting the money for real, you know.
Exactly.
What
That's
happened
it.
to
They
people?
haven't gotten rid of the program. I think what they did, they just cleaned up the list. So it's
Yeah.
not about money. I don't even think at this point we should even focus on politics. We just need solutions.
No,
And
we're
it has to
talking
be a
about
holistic thing.
consultation. We're talking about consultation and being in, because I know some people else who were there before in the consultation process.
Azard. And I could wait by a waiting call saying, come in him after 6 years.
We
But there
can't
was
hear
always
you. Wait.
like-
Caller, wait. We couldn't.
Huh?
We
Yeah,
can't.
you're a bit low. We were struggling to hear what you were saying.
Not hearing me. I say yesterday, I've been waiting for I hear wake up by a call. You hearing me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, thank you.
Yes, and it's so frightening at my age. When I'm good, I drinking me a good bush tea and a Hazard to get me heart good enough.
Keep it
But I was
strong.
a little weight, 71 something years old. Why you think I
Wow.
could have taken and I can't know the guy? And I'm from a child coming up and to get waked by that deal.
Yep.
You know, I cry and all because I say, somebody I know good and we Monday night in the bath, hot bath up near I get this big issue again, I mean news again. He ain't gone up 24 hours yet.
Yep.
We need real red hard and thing. And I'm agree with Mr. Culture say, well, my load of police, they're sending a message to you. Are we country going down the drain or what? We got to wake up and watch these things, you know. Because we ain't need all of this, you know. I ain't say you can't got bodyguard, but one or two is enough. But you want 5 and 6 and 10 for. So that's sending a message, man. The message will come to loud, you know, before the action, you know. And we want to be like Venezuela and all of them. They want this man. We wake up, we say, oh, our country is fighting here with against one another and all them deal. And we got to be running out, going to where we don't run, because St. Thomas right now ain't taking us like a long time in the 70s, the 60s and 70s, you know.
Okay, caller.
Okay.
Okay, we have to take a break.
We
So
need to wake up and get this thing straight, then. And I didn't agree with the statement, the press relief wasn't him hot. I want hotter press relief on that, Dr. Joe, I beg you please come with that big hotter press relief to make me feel on a lift. No, just start talking like it's just a brush off. I want to hear a brush off, no, I want to hear sip of
okay, caller. Caller, I have to take a break. Okay.
Yeah, man, you ain't so good at all.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Have a good day today.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
If you need insurance, our service is the best. Home motor insurance can give you more for less. Property insurance can save you a lot of stress. At CDC Insurance Company Limited, we care about your investment. Guarantee you peace of mind. The best team in the business. Guarantee you peace of mind. No other company will. Guarantee you peace of mind. Together we'll succeed and guarantee you peace of mind. CDC Insurance Company Limited, where you get more coverage for less.
Switch for a better mortgage with Bond. Come and visit us today and let's discuss your future. The Bank of Nevis Limited is encouraging all customers to come to the bank that cares. Switch for an attractive low interest rate, 100% financing. Yes, you heard correct. Additionally, up to 30 years repayment available. Commitment fee waived. Legal fee waived. And any additional fees can be included within the loan. That's right. We are providing solutions at Bond Strong. Switching has never been this easy. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Special terms and conditions apply. Offer ends July 30th, 2023.
You can bank on it. You can put 100 grand on it. Anything I said, I stand on it.
And we're back. It's 8:45. We go straight to the phone lines. Ireland T, you're on.
Good day, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Hi, caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning to the host here, the Jamster. Good morning to Azard, and good morning to the young nice lady here.
Yes.
Good morning to all the listeners right across the planet.
Good
I just
morning.
want to share a little short contribution in terms of the topic we're discussing from the peace program. Now, when I look back and I look at the peace program, it wasn't easy. Being in that we can get 12 people to lead 12 groups right across the country in a room to sit down and discuss and bring it down to what we had. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. It was very difficult to bring people together who want to kill people. And the government underestimated the situation here, big time. This government here. So they didn't understand what was happening. They take it for granted. Now, let me follow up now on this. Remember that the committee, right? That was there on the team unity. What they paid in August, September, October, November, December, what they replaced, remember that the Commissioner Brandy, A.C.P. Brown, Len Harris, what they replaced, nobody know. But the peace had an order, and a serious order, that the people who were responsible for these groups had to make sure this order executed right across in both countries. And it had a network where you could have reached people reach the issues and reach the situation then we need to get out. After the committee was dismantled, I don't know what they put together to say what was replaced in the committee there under team unity. Because member said that was not being paid and the committee was abandoned. They cannot say that. The peace committee was abandoned. On top of that, the members of the peace committee could not have the resources to reach out to the other youngsters when they were removed from the program. First, they remove some people from the program, and then they come and tell them, come and re-register. That is total interruption in the network and the order of the program. That is abandoning what is there and what is broken. That is abandoning what is there and what is broken. And after all of that, we remove all of the people that were responsible for the peace committee. We remove all of certain members of the peace who was getting this and getting that and taking advantage. We come right down to now, the members having to fend for themselves. Nobody there to reach out to, nothing in place to say, well, either structure or a mechanism in place that was there to deal with what is to come and what we was facing. Since November, we don't see what was coming and what happening. We don't see this year. The commissioner who was there and other high command members don't see what was coming. Since the lady got shut down there by the school, we don't see what was going on. So at the same time, what they need to do is to go back to what was working. Bring back and replace the people them and get the information from those who was there and have it go back in place. You can't tell me that in opposition, say, you ain't paying them, you not pay them. And you come in and you tell yourself you're going to do the same thing, you not pay them. And at the same time, everything go wrong, and you don't want to take the blame. If you make it go wrong, you can't blame nobody. That's all I have to say, really, you know. Because if they had taken it serious and put a Department of Peace in place and build on what was there and do something different in terms of what they mean, then we would never be talking about 16 murders in June. We would have been building on top what was there.
Caller?
The young man, they would have been there to go to an area and have their issues and have their problem and the matters. I guess there is nothing there to do that.
Caller?
Hello?
I want to say thank you so much for calling in this morning and raising that point, because I know indirectly persons who will have formed that committee, and I won't call any names. And they were telling me all about the consultative process, which I'm trying to explain to persons, but it seemed like they never really understood what I was talking about. And I didn't want to call any names as to who were part of the committee and stuff like that. But
I could call name because I was a part of every initiative the Ministry of National Security initiated from 2015 right up until 2022. By making sure we have what we want in every way to make them feel comfortable that they don't abandon the meeting, they don't say where they can't come, because we make sure we went out there, we get it done. And it's going to be difficult, but it's still done because we make sure, for one thing, Team Unity brought back the place to where people can walk and go anywhere. Prior to 2015, people couldn't walk anywhere. And we did that deal. And it's still in place. People could walk anywhere. They're going to far gone. That's the other situation where they need to focus on. And people is not focusing. It's only when the pressure comes that is when they do things. Reactive. I'm not calling a name. That's all I have to say. You have a good day, yeah?
Thank you for your
Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much for your call.
No problem.
And this is someone who has been a part of the process. And I think sometimes we talk about programs, not knowing about how the process is. And that's why I said it's not just about throwing cash at people, but it's a consultative process that would have been involved in the process as well. Again, I wasn't a member of any committee, but we know persons, and persons might have said.
If you are going to form a committee, there needs to be a consultative process. Are we saying that didn't happen in the continuation?
Well, he just said that.
Okay, let's take this call.
He just indicated that.
Island T, you're on.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thank you for your timely discussion. And I wish that discussion we would have never been having this morning. And in fairness to the Prime Minister, all these operations that are taking place now is even surprising to probably him. I think that he know one of the victims personally, I think he's been to his business place before and talked and so on with him because that's the type of man he is. And so to say how short his speech was and all of that, to me, all of that was really unnecessary. All of us in a position now where we feel like we're in a panic mode and we are vulnerable, and the possibility of anything could happen to any one of us. Had we known that this was coming, we would have found some way to stop it and to prevent it from happening, make it sure that it don't happen. The whole idea now is that we have people who are in charge of our security system, and they will have to get together and plan a strategy as to how to work with the people who they are trying to protect and serve. And, they have to do it within the parameter of the law, because you really can't break the law to fix the law. And no one should really have the right to do what is wrong. And taking another life is way out of whack. We can find other means to settle our differences than to cut down and fight down each other, because once a man is gone, he cannot help you and he can't help me. He's out of the system. And so we need each other to stay alive, and we need each other to look after each other. And that's the fact that we need to have. We need to comfort each other when we have sorrows. There are people, no matter what you do, no matter what you put in place, there are people who are still going to do what they feel like they have to do. But there are consequences to the action. Someday they will be caught. Someday they will feel and they will meet the consequence of which they measured out. So at the end of the day, let us not turn on each other, because jumps that have not committed the crime, either have any one of you or me. The people who have committed the crime, they are there still. So let us discuss the matter of the ways that we can go forward to stay safe and be safe. Because at the end of the day, we need each other. And choose our words carefully. And Jamster, don't expect a politician not to be politicking. A preacher will always preach. A lawyer will always look for some avenue where he could apply to get a job in the law area. And that is who they are. But at the same time, within the fine line of that, we can find something valuable that we can use. I want to say one thing before I go there. For the past days, there have been an issue concerning plastics and the streets. I have went to the supermarket on Monday and was looking for plastic bag, and there was none issue. But come to think about it, I have been around the island several times and tours and so on, and I have walked the terrain and the range and so on. And the truth is, I have not seen one plastic bag that comes from a supermarket. Not one. The plastic that I have seen is those that come wrapped in candy, biscuits, and all the other commodities that comes to us in plastic. But I have not seen a supermarket plastic bag. So I want to put that clear. It's not everything that we could say, drop, cover, hold on, and all of that is working. It sounds good, but some things are not workable for us. Gentlemen, continue the conversation. Talk to each other and not at each other. Have a good day.
And you have a good day as well. Okay, so 5 minutes until 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock we have
the
farm report. Yeah, we're going to have a guest today.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Island T, you're on.
Yeah, I wanted to come back in.
Okay.
I just wanted to thank that caller.
And you have another
I wanted
caller.
to thank that caller
I want you, wait,
myself.
hold on. I want you to be brief, because there's another line is ringing, so go ahead.
And brief for me is just agreeing with that caller and thanking him for expressing his thoughts just now. He has articulated it for me. So I want to support him and thank him for what he just said. And now this government, they cannot swallow the pride, man. They got to go back to what has been working and tweak the program. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you for your call.
We have another caller. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi, good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, panels around the region, and including St. Kitts and Nevis, we just say certain kind of words to start to calm the minds of the victims when these things come up. But I don't know if any one of you young enough to know about the other in the Second World War. They talk about D-Day. A massive force went over to Europe from the UK, including Americans, Canadians, etc., etc. And they invaded France and other neighboring countries and took them back from the Germans, a massive force. I ain't hear nobody saying increasing expenditure to increase the number of security personnel, and that is what I believe we want. The streets of San Francisco was chaos a number of years ago. They did similarly, and then New York was even worse. When Giuliani was mayor there, they set up a massive force, even police on horseback and all of that, and then they got the crime there. I'm not saying no crime there, but they got it under control. So when you have the principles of warfare, even though war is fought differently nowadays, the principles still there. And these kind of words that they use, man, they done gone through the window. But Dr. Drew's statement yesterday was short. And Dr. Drew said, since he became Prime Minister, that nobody can get paid out to the Treasury. Well, okay, and the exact word, unless they work for it. I heard him say that. Other people heard him, because a number of usually discuss. So, I don't know. We got to come to reality. If something working and you want to move it, you want to adjust it or whatever, you do it. But look at the best long-term interests of the country. So, I think we want the police force want money. The security area want money. Recruit more people, even for temporary. We got to come in, not tax. Tax ain't working. I will go there.
Thank you, Carl, for your contribution.
Okay, well, it's 1 minute until 9 o'clock. We have Farm Report coming up next, and we have an extension officer. That's right, Lionel Stevens, and he's going to be joining us for Farm Report. It's 9 o'clock. Let's get a quick word, and Farm Report is coming up next.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
The climate change crisis is already making millions of people sick and jeopardizing lives. But for us in the Caribbean, young people are among the most vulnerable. Our future is at risk. Taking action now can lead to huge health benefits. The I Deserve a Better Climate for My Health campaign will spotlight real issues from real young people in the Caribbean and give youths a platform to contribute to the solutions for climate change and health. You are not too young to inspire climate and health action.
Hey, this is your boy, Super Handy Andy, with your Super Handy Andy deals at Hostels Building Center for the month of June. 3/4 horsepower convertible jet pump was $20,0292, now only $17,0249. 5-gallon bucket of Seasons Weather Guard Pro was $717.61, now $609.97. 72-inch curved shower rod was $288.22, now $244.99. Adjustable tree floor lamp was $290.05. Get it now for $246.54. 52-inch hugger ceiling fan was $548.65. Get it now for just $411.49. 4-piece combo toolkit was $1283.85. Is now just only $962.89. Super handy deals at Households Building Center for the month of June, making home improvement easy.
It's 1 minute after 9 o'clock, and it's time for Farm Report. We've got Extension Officer Lionel Stevens from the Department of Agriculture, And he is our guest today.
And welcome, Mr. Stevens. How are you?
Good morning to everyone. I'm doing fine. Give thanks.
Yes, and you're here on Farm Report. Welcome, because I think it's the first time we've had you here.
Yeah, the first time on the Farm Report.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're an extension officer with the Ministry of Agriculture.
I'm a crop extension officer in the Department of Agriculture, yes.
I'm so glad you added that crop part. So tell us exactly what your job is.
Okay, as a crop extension officer, it's my role to visit the farmers, observe what is it they are planting, provide advice as to what chemicals products may work better to address a particular problem, etc. We also collect data, what crops are planted, when they would be ready, so that we can let the importers know what is going to be available on the ground. You know, so that's basically what an extension officer does.
So you're a go-between the farmers and the ministry?
Yes.
Kind of. All right,
I kind of do the reporting. I go visit the farmers, hear their concerns, and I relay back to the department.
All right. And do you have a specific area that you cover, or is it for everything?
My area is St. Paul's to Passing Ground.
Okay.
Crop farmers in those areas.
St. Paul's to Passing
Are there a lot of farms between there?
Yes, there are.
Can you give us a number?
We have, can't tell you the number, but we have the Prophet Mountain area in Deep Bay. We have, just a further across, we have Paxton Mountain. Then we have a few farmers in the Whitegate area in St. Paul's. We have a few farmers below the Kittishan Hill development in that area as well, and then go as far back over to Newton Ground. So we have well over 50 farmers in that area.
Could you tell us some of the crops that are popularly grown during that in that area?
That area, a lot of focus is more on the grown crops, root tubers. Seeing as there is no real access to water, it's more mountainous areas. So you'll find a lot of peanuts, sweet potatoes, carrots, dasheen, some yams, and those type of crops being planted in that area.
Right. So tell us what capacity you're in, you're visiting us in today.
Well, I am a part of the consortium. I am the president of the Sandy Point Agricultural Cooperative, and we are a part of the consortium movement. My role here today basically was to try to speak towards the hurricane season. We have just entered the hurricane season, and we know it's 6 months up to November. So I just wanted to share a few tips as it relates to preparation and trying to safeguard or minimize the amount of damage that a farmer may sustain at any given time. For example, in the event of an approaching storm, you would want to reduce some of the branches on your trees, you know, because those branches would help to hold wind and lead to the tree either falling down, losing of all the fruits, things like that.
Right.
So, where possible, coconut boughs that you can be trimmed, different branches that can be trimmed, different trees, you try to do that. So in the event of a storm, you don't have these trees falling and blocking your roads, preventing you from accessing your farm and stuff like that.
How soon do you advise them to do this? Like, should they start now, seeing that hurricane season has started
Well,
now, or when a storm is announced?
No, it's good, you know what I mean? Start looking around and see what the conditions are of your trees. Like for now, we know it's fruiting season, mangoes around, avocados, mansiport. So you wouldn't really want to go and trim your trees knowing that they have on fruits.
Right.
But you monitor them. If a storm is approaching today, tomorrow, then you have no choice but to prune certain branches. Like for bananas, we know we do get a lot of damage in bananas. You would want to leave the banana tree basically just like
a stick,
just like a stick. So the wind just goes around that. If you leave the branches on, then you have all the trees toppling over. Then you have to start from scratch.
So usually during the season and the hurricane is approaching, you'll cut all the
Yes, you
Okay.
try to prune the coconut tree, trim off the limbs, so that limits the
Don't
wind
become
from
missiles.
Yeah.
from holding into it and shoving it down.
Yeah, makes
The
sense.
left branches, it just goes around you. You know what I'm
I
saying?
have a two-part question. The first part are there hot spots for monkey encroachment, or is it pretty even around the island in terms of the areas that you think? And two, what would your role be with the let's say the anti-monkey program vis-a-vis the department and the farmers?
Well, monkeys are all around.
So there's no place where it's more than any other. As long as there's food, they're going to be there.
Monkeys are all around. Some farmers experience less damage than others, sometimes based on your location and based on the amount of activity in terms of physical presence on the farm.
And it's not based on crops as well, or they don't care. The monkeys don't care.
Well, monkeys, they have certain crops that some people say they suicide for. Like, they would risk their life to go for it, like Christophine and certain things, you know what I mean?
Sweet potato is one of them, no?
Not sweet potato, because they have to go and scrabble that.
So the ones that are easily accessible.
Easily accessible. They will come eat your pepper,
You
they will eat
risk-
your
you-
okras, they will eat off your young.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Imagine.
your young blossoms, your corn, they will eat your whole corn crop. So, but the presence, the physical presence on the farm
Right, it kind of
keeps them off. But a lot of farmers are part-time farmers.
Okay.
You know, we go in the morning, spend 2 hours, and we have to go to our regular 9 to 5.
You say we, so you're a farmer as well.
I'm a farmer
What
as
do
well.
you plant?
I plant a lot of tree crops, you know.
What are tree crops?
Mangoes, bananas, pineapples.
What kind of mangoes?
Too numerous to mention.
Listen, as soon as you said mangoes,
You know,
he sat up in the chair.
Hoping we had some grafted in there.
Well, you got grafted, you got Polly, you got Rome Ball, you got Golden Nugget, you got Keith, you got Hayden.
I've never
you
heard
got
about the
Bajan,
Golden
you got
Nugget.
Bulltone.
Those are mangoes?
Those are different
I
varieties
never
of
heard
mangoes.
those. Wow.
I like the name.
I think I only know 2 out of
Yeah.
those.
The
But
Golden
we
Nugget.
accustomed to we want grafted. And we
Yeah,
want
that's
Polly.
all they know. So I'm glad you're dropping these new names.
But there's Rosy Cheek.
Oh, I know
Rome
Rosy
that
Ball,
one I know.
I know
yeah.
Rosy Cheek.
There's Rome Ball.
I know the
there's
Rome Ball, yeah.
Long mango that we call Nevis mango.
Yeah.
There's a big one we call Golden Nugget. There's another big one called Keith. There's
Keith or
Hayden.
teeth?
Keith.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
You know
Keith?
what I mean? So
Keith is a mango.
yeah, so there's a lot of things that out there that we don't really familiar with. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I didn't want to take you off your path, but I was
Yeah.
trying to figure out how do you fit in with the consortium? How do you think it's going?
Well, the whole objective of the consortium really is to be a voice for the community. A lot of farmers have problems. Everybody got problems. And for me, I keep saying that your problem is my problem.
Right.
I may not be experiencing it the same time you experiencing it, but your problem is a problem of the community. And we have an issue of who is the one or who will be the one to take our issues forward. A lot of persons are not vocal, they have issues, but they will talk to you, you know what I mean, behind closed doors. But in terms of coming public, a lot of persons don't want to do that because victimization, etc., etc., etc. Because you talk, you are labeled. So the whole idea of the consortium is basically to be that voice for the community. We have issues as farmers in the community. The consortium should be that one to take these issues forward. You know what I mean? Because
Strong as one voice.
yes, strength in numbers, and you only need one person to speak. But once you have the support of the masses, then
that's powerful.
Yeah.
And you feel like that's effective, right? Like you have that, that there's one voice, but behind that voice is a bunch of persons.
Yes, we would hope that it could be and it would be, because we find that in the community there are individuals who always have the ears of those at the head. You know, and in some instances, okay, if I know James and I'm good with James, I could go to James directly and put my problem to James, and James may work out how he could assist me.
Yes.
But in an instance where I am not familiar with James, I may be hesitant to go to James to ask for support or even put my matter across.
Lionel, let me ask a question. This was a question I was going to ask earlier, but you kind of half answered it just now when you told Candy that you're a farmer. As an executive member on the consortium and knowing that you work with the agricultural department, my question earlier was going to be if you were an executive member as a result of being part of the Ministry of Agriculture, but then you said you were a farmer. So how does that dynamic work in terms of, is there any conflict?
I always let people know that I am both sides of the fence.
Okay.
I always do that.
I feel like that's a good advantage. You know, it's an advantageous position because you can relate, yes.
So I partially am aware of what is taking place from the government's end. And I partially know what is happening in the farming community on the ground. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I could help both sides. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm in the farming community and I'm hearing the cries, the pleas, the concerns. So whenever I'm in a department meeting, I could share information that may not have been brought to the front because I am part of that community.
And yes, you have the first-hand experience.
You have access to both.
So assuming...
I could say, well, these are things happening out here.
So I'm assuming the department shares your sentiment that they see no conflict and they see it as
some persons may see it as a conflict now that you bring it up. You know what I mean? Now that you bring it up, some persons, being a devil's advocate, may bring it up. But at the end of the day, one is free to do whatever they so wish to after work. So if I work in the Department of Agriculture and I choose to farm after work, that's my choice. That's me just sticking to where I am.
But you would say it's a benefit overall, rather
it's a benefit
rather
in the sense
any
that
conflict.
I studied agriculture. I'm working agriculture. So why wouldn't I be involved in agriculture? That's what I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, the objective for survival is food. So I provide in food. So even if the work decides, well, we're going to finish with you, I still could survive because I'm planting food which I need to survive. So I don't see it as a conflict. I see it as a survival.
I have another question, and you're the perfect person to answer the question again because of being living on both sides of the fence. Why don't we in St. Kitts, Nevis? I've always wondered why we don't have, let's say, orchard with with breadfruit trees and soursop, and where we farm these things and package them. And I always wondered, what avocados? Why is that not a thing?
Well, you want me to give you a little political history that I would have received?
Go ahead.
Back in the days. Before the 80s, it was kind of, agriculture was dominant still. You know what I mean? Sugar and them kind of vibes. But I understand when the government changed in the 80s, a different narrative was being beaten out. Escape the Green College. You know what I mean? Educate yourself, become police, lawyer, doctors, teachers. A stigma was kind of placed on the agriculture. So we moved away from that, right? To the point where nobody wanted to really go into the sugar industry, which in the industry used to capture everything. The good, the bad, and the ugly. If you're good, you're bright, you go work in accounts and you do wages and them kind of thing. You're in between, you could do a middle management work. You're at the bottom, you could go work on the train, you could go pull cane, you could go cut cane. There was somewhere for everybody, right? We move away from that now. And then we go on to tourism. You see what I'm saying? Tourism, so we're busy putting in the infrastructure to develop a tourism sector, agriculture is not there. We still have sugar. When sugar became a burden, there was that shift to tourism, leaving agriculture behind. Agriculture was now made for individuals like myself. If you want to farm, you farm. The government did not move into food production. If the government had moved into food production, then we would have seen the establishment of orchards, factories for canning and processing these foods, but we moved into tourism. So you see Port Zante, Hyatt, Marriott, Kitishan Hill, Ramada, infrastructure to accommodate passengers, tourists, support that industry. Whereas the agricultural industry, you know what I mean, out of sugar, people asking the question, where the tractors gone? Up to today, we have a serious land preparation problem. Serious. Farmers cannot get to plant their food when they want to plant their food.
So where are the tractors?
Ask me, I can't tell you.
Okay.
Right? But
this is something that has been put forward.
yeah.
So
This is a serious cry from the community farmers out there saying that they're paying their money 3 months, they can't get the tractor per 6 months. The tractor would come, give them a first cut, then the tractor come back around. It's like a first cut again.
when you say paying the money, who is this money paid to?
Well, you pay the Department of
Okay.
Agriculture for land preparation service.
Okay, caller.
Okay.
We have a caller. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Caller.
Hello.
Greetings.
Good morning.
And same to you, getting the more.
Yeah.
You know, sir, it is full time, you know, for farmers at heart to take the eyes off of government and what can come from government, whatever the administration, and build the strength so strong that whatever government or administration is in place, we just have to follow through with the kind of power that Farmers United will be having. It is time. I don't think that we should continue looking to governments or administration to lead the way. I think that we are making a mistake doing that. We should lead the way as farmers. Farmers should lead the way. We make a sound more than once. We want to echo it now. Imagine if all the farmers, if not all, most of the farmers, comes together and farm miles, not acres, miles of food. What a difference that will be. And let us not doubt ourselves in doing this, because if whatever is needed apart from land, because the land is here, apart from what is needed apart from land, if administration or government in place up to the time is not supportive in what we are doing, we push our own support, even if it is coming from outside. Because the fertile land is here already, and we have the zeal and the desire to go forward, putting agriculture on the pinnacle it ought to be. Give thanks to the time.
Thank you, caller.
Okay, now that caller raises a good point and would lead to my next question. He said farmers should, maybe be self-starters. Mm-hmm. So suppose a farmer wanted to buy a tractor, decided, hey, I'm fed up, I'm just going to get my own tractor. What programs are in place in terms of concessions for a farmer if he wanted to bring a tractor?
I
Tell us.
can't really speak to concessions in place, but there are several private tractor service providers.
Oh,
on the
okay.
island. There
All
are
right.
several of them.
Okay.
Right? But just like any other machine, there's wear and tear. Right? You asked about concession. Right? The government system is as such where in the farming sector, duty-free concession are allowed on certain things. And the procedure is where you apply, you write to the department requesting the assistance, specifying, identifying the commodities or whatever it is that you are seeking the assistance on. And it goes through the process. It goes to the officer. The officer does an evaluation, submits it, and a decision is made whether you get it or you don't get it.
Okay. Farm report, you're on the air. Go right ahead.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. Now, I don't know, is the guys, the farmers, are they from the agriculture or just their own private farmers?
They're
The
a mixture.
specific farmer today
Yeah,
is also an extension officer
Yeah.
at Ministry of Agriculture.
And he also has his own farm.
Okay. Now, my thing is, I do a backyard gardening at home, and I have a grafted mango tree. I don't know if you guys might be able to shed some light on what is happening, but for the past 2 years, the grafted mango tree, when it bears, the mangoes, they come to full size, and just before they get to ripe stage, there's a hole in the mango, and these holes are not from a bird or any kind of, sometimes whatever we got, the fruit itself. But I lost more than what I gained for the past 2 years. The mangoes are with a hole in them, and this is a grafted mango tree. So I don't know. I try to figure out. I don't know if it's when I see things like this, a lot of ideas run through my head. I mean, we've been having a lot of jet signature in our skies lately. So I don't know if anyone from the agriculture can help me out with, why this is happening. The mangoes are lost more than what I got this year, and I've seen bees. Bees are following these mangoes. I've never seen a bee like. When the mango drop in the yard and the hole is there, the bee, I found 6 bees in the mangoes feeding on the mango. I don't know if anyone can help me out here as to why this phenomenon is happening. I don't know if anyone want to, from the agriculture, to sample these mangoes as to why this is happening. I'll listen off there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. You could bring a sample of your mangoes to the quarantine unit. Have them look at the mangoes. But presently on island, we have a matter of fruit flies that affects quite a bit of fruits. They pierce the fruit, lay their eggs develop into worms, and they eat the fruits.
Okay.
Right? So that's a problem we're experiencing. There's also the mango seed weevil. That is a phenomenon to me. Because you would eat the mango would be entirely good, properly good, and when you do open the seed of the mango, there is a beetle inside eating out the embryo. That seed that actually germinates and gives you a tree. There is a beetle actually inside.
Any specific type of mango? Because
well, we have seen it in several of the varieties.
wow.
Which
presently.
varieties you could think about?
We
You
see it
worried
in the
now?
grafted, the Julie. We saw it in some of the knock-dog mangoes I would call like Roly Cheek. We would see it in the Sourback.
Yeah.
AZ looks alarmed.
Yeah,
The
he's
thing
very
about
upset
it-
about the grafted
Yeah.
one that was
Yeah,
mentioned.
the thing with that though.
Knowledge is power, but ignorance can sometimes be bliss. Now,
Hey,
when
we have 2 callers
when
coming
I
in.
go into
I hope
my
Lionel
mango.
will get a chance to finish his tips that he actually came to give.
Yeah. Call, go right ahead.
Yes. Good morning, all.
Good morning.
I'm happy you got in. I would like to ask your guest a question.
Go ahead.
Yes. There is this white I don't know if it's a bug or something like that, but it's whitish. And it seems like when they reproduce in a clump. You have your food planted, whether in your, well, let's say your backyard garden, and they're there in the soil, and it's like it's feeding on the plant and it's choking the plant. And I don't know if that is the same bug or pest that is found on the underleaf of some of these
some of the plants.
Crops. They leave a kind of a whitish
white
powder. It's like a fungus, like a whitish fungus. What is this? What is that fungus? What causes it? And what are these like bugs that's found in the soil around the roots of the plants that's sucking the lifeblood out of it, discoloring the colors of the leaves, and eventually destroying the plant? And how can they be treated? I don't know if there's any natural remedies for that, or if not, how can it be treated? How can one go about getting solutions for that problem? I listen off here.
Thank you for your call.
Okay.
I had an eggplant tree that happened too.
That whitey stuff on the underside of the leaves, usually it's white flies. Sometimes it's scales, right? You could use several insecticides to address those. Neem is one. Neem is a more organic product that you could use.
Neem oil or just neem, like you take the leaves?
If you could take the leaves, boil the leaves, or soak it, and that becomes an insecticide.
And just spray it on?
Spray it on.
Okay.
Water the plant with it. There's another one called for white flies, caprid is another one that we use to control white flies. But when it comes to the soil, sometimes, yes, we see these white kind of cobwebby side of stuff around the roots of our plant, and the plant eventually fail. But that's a sign of, like, sometimes there's nematodes in the soil, ants, right? So sometimes you want to drench with different fungicides, Acrobat, you know what I mean, things like those. But for persons who don't like to use the chemicals, you could incorporate some manure to the soil to try boost the nutrient capacity in the soil. You know what I mean? So there are different things, but when you have the things on the leaf, sometimes you could just pick off the leaf and throw it away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You see a worm on a particular leaf, you could actually pick off the worm and get rid of it.
But candy face, yes, you could pick the worm off.
The worm, I'm gonna take
if
off
it's
the
a whole
whole
leaf, you could take off the leaf. If it's an infested branch, you clip off that branch and remove the pest along with the infested area. So there are different ways to go about
candy.
To go about addressing it. A lot of persons right now trying to move to the organic and move away from the chemical.
Yes.
I actually just sent a WhatsApp to my wife about the neem, about boiling, because she buys it, but I just sent her a note about what you said about boiling it.
Neem oil, the trees are around, so you don't necessarily have to buy the product, but you could get it yourself, soak it or boil it, and
okay.
So Jam said you do a bit of gardening.
No, she does. I have a black thumb.
Oh, I see.
I think the plants. I think the plants would uproot themselves and run if they could. When I go into the garden.
That has behaved with me is an orchid plant I have in my office. I have a bamboo plant and it is driving me nuts. But I saw like those same white things, but I think those were aphids because they were actually like the small white ones. It didn't look like a scale type thing. So definitely getting some neem, but. I know you came here with a purpose, so tell us what your other tips are.
And what we'll do after you get into the tips, we'll let the people make a few more calls.
Awesome,
if they
great.
like. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, and it pertains to the hurricane season as well. You want to basically try to put in some underground crops like peanuts, potatoes, dasheen, yams. So in the event of high winds, you know, that food is underground.
Yes.
We know that when the winds come, we come with a lot of sea blast, and a few days after, the whole country is brown from the sea blast. So if you have crops like okras, tomatoes, all those would be destroyed in the storm, right? So I'm not telling the whole country to just plant underground food, but that would be more
During that time.
Yeah, more
Focus
ideal.
on that.
You see what I'm saying? But if you have the above ground crops, in the event of the storm, you would have to
Can we-
harvest
right.
and secure what you can secure
Right.
because the wind is going to come and go with
Yeah.
everything
Exactly.
else.
So
And it would
secure
not
what
be
you can at that point.
edible after all the sea blast would have hit it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you try to secure what you can prior to the storm.
Right. So we have prune, we have plant underground
Plant
crops.
underground crops, as well as what to say. Look at what you have around your property. You talk about things that could become missiles, that could lift up and fly within the wind. So when you try to secure, put away, batten down what you can batten down, because at the end of the day, if it's a category 5, when you come back, you're looking for your things and they're in Timbuktu. But if you were to secure them, prune off a few of your leaves, you might come back and still have a mango tree on your farm versus your mango tree lying down, completely uprooted. So those are some of the few tips I wanted to share this morning as we start the hurricane season. The rest of it is up to the individual. You know what I mean? You look at your surroundings, what you have, and see how best you can safeguard and minimize your damage, because you don't know how soon after help is going to come. You don't know what it's going to look like. So if you can prevent and safeguard what you have, so that after you at least have a 2-3 day supply of something before the help comes. So I just wanted to encourage the members of the community to be,
I guess, in a sense,
vigilant.
yeah. I guess, in a sense, to my question I gave earlier about the lack of orchard farming and so. I guess part of it too is that people are looking at the fact that farmers who maybe might have been disposed to do it, they're probably looking at it like, boy, if I plant up a whole bunch of, say, breadfruit and avocados, if we have a hurricane, like you said, Timbuktu. Right.
No, but you could safeguard some of it.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, good.
But
good.
I do like the orchard idea. I think we could benefit from it.
Yeah.
The orchard idea is a good one. As you could see, one was established at the Kim Collins Highway by the Taiwanese.
Yeah.
PD
had to take the Taiwanese to come to do that for us to know. I mean, stuff like that really bugs me. But anyway.
Not really, but we would have had establishments of fruit orchards around the islands for years. For example, there's a mango orchard at Wingfield. I don't know many people know about that.
Okay,
there are
no,
several plots going up where the Sky Safari area is.
Really?
There are several plots of grafted mangoes in that area.
Azard.
Yeah.
Okay.
To my knowledge, about 5 different plots.
Right in his area too.
Yeah. Occupied by 5 different farmers.
That I find that's the best tasting mango.
Oh
All of us have
goodness.
our
there was a citrus orchard in that area as well.
Yes, I heard that.
If you go over a little bit more and you're going up to that Wingfield flat it is, there's a different set of mangoes going up that area. Then back over in the Middle Island area, that's the Rotary Cheek zone.
I remember as a kid we used to have oranges. Like we used to have domestic oranges all the time.
From the citrus.
There was one in Old Road, but as I say, agriculture is not something that is priority.
Well, we're working to change that.
You see where I'm coming from? So you find that a lot of these things is like we get so comfortable with the supermarket.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a call. Line up. Go ahead. Sorry about that. Caller, go right ahead. Hey.
Hello, Jamster.
Yes.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, we're dealing with agriculture. I've been trying to get in earlier this morning, but I could not, and we're going to rest that. But let me deal with agriculture. You see where the brother just tell you all a while ago? After the sugar industry, when it strike out, everybody, farmers, people who work on the estate, want to know where the tractors are gone. The farmers then have a serious problem. And you all got to pay attention to the young man because he understands what's going on. The farmers them cannot get their land cut up. Some of them, when they go to the bank,
because they support a different color, they cannot go and get a loan to get their own tractor to continue the produce. This is the problem in the country, you know. This politics is killing all what we got. So for sin. You make a valid point. Almost an hour now we're trying to call you, John Snow. Who this guy from the agriculture be?
His name is Lionel Stevens. He's an extension officer.
You ask the guy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jam Dong.
You ask the guy?
Yeah, Jam Dong. What of food
It has to be. Because you're not finding other people come to this program with them going to talk. But all he's saying is right. In 1980, out of the sugar, when we finished the sugar in 2005, the government before decided to go and just plant food and give some of the estate workers land to plant. The government at the day was blindly had their own agenda. Now where all these equipment of this sugar factory gone? Where they gone? Where the tractors that used to be on the estate them gone? These tractors could have helped in these poor farmers because some of them ain't got $100,000 to buy a brand new tractor. I'm sorry, when I see you all in person, I'm going to tell you something where I know on the road happening right now at the airport. Because friend I look for friends, and we're going to ban it out, you know. We're going to ban them that meat culture and others who willing to show their head. We're going to beat out these nasty politics thing where we got going around here in real society. Pack up and come. Have a good day.
Have a good one too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and I give Extension Officer Lionel Stevens a chance to wrap up. Okay.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
The real gen of them drink Campari. Link up your girl with the Campari. Day or night with your Campari. Mix the pineapple, you can't run party. Campari, respect the bitter. Must be 18 years or older to drink responsibly.
Music's finest artists converge in Bastia from June 22nd to June 24th for the 25th hosting of the St. Kitts Music Festival. Hitting the festival main stage will be Skillibeg, Chronix, Coffee, Byron Messiah, Anthony B, Governor, Romaine Virgo, TJ, Valiant. Them boy don't got no bodies. Grand Masters, Collision Band, Small X Band, New Vibes Band International, Mr. Bagdad, Akayu Sweet, Preedy, Guess the Band, Ricardo Drew, Patrice Roberts, Skinny Fabulous, Nyla Blackman, Status. Erica Edwards, 313 Family, Gramps Morgan, Nitra B, Ear Supply, Dexter Daps, and Burner Boy. It's the 25th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival from June 22nd to June 24th at Warner Park. An experience like no other. Tickets are now available at stkittsmusicfestival.com.
Quench me thirst, I bust that time now. Watch me, I bust and smile out. Boy. Freestyle, free buster, a freestyle. Watch we are playing full color meanwhile. One leap of flavor, every one of them tries. The drink are refreshing and nice. Me tell you say a buster, me buy you with my money. This a everybody drink, I know me one love it. Have it yeah, for the kids, them daddy harmony. Buster, we playing full color. Correct, I am tea.
It's 9:41, and we are back in the final remaining moments of Farm Report with Agricultural Extension Officer and Farmer Lionel Stevens.
And farmer.
That's nice ring, isn't it?
Yes, and farmer.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I just want to continue to encourage the community being the farming community, to which I have a responsibility to, of which I am a part of, that in everything we do, you know what I mean, togetherness must be a part of it, because all of us facing the same challenges.
Yeah.
Even for the farmer who has his own tractor, he may be able to prepare his land and plant his food when he wants to. But he's still going to end up in problems at the marketing stage because everybody planting and marketing to the same thing, same place.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So the consortium really is trying to be a voice, trying to bring farmers together under an umbrella where when support or progress is made, it is made for the community, not for an individual. You see what I'm saying? Because many persons that I was saying, all of us have the ears of the politicians, all of us are friends with these people. Some of us are not. So for an individual who is not, who is of the other color, the other side, right? The community is here to embrace all of us and move the sector forward for all of us. Because, as I say, land prep affects a great section of the community. There's almost 10 private operators, right? But a lot of the machines are old. A lot of them need parts. So there are challenges all around, not just at the government end. You see what I'm saying? But if the community can work closer together, then we could have some of the problems being addressed. Maybe not in its entirety, but in stages. You see what I'm saying? For example, one of the things that the consortium wants to address, one of the first things, which is a basic thing, is the land preparation situation. For example, the minister traveled last year to Trinidad for a conference, and he came back with the 25 by 25 agenda. And myself, being on both sides, I am saying, if there is an idea or a thought to increase production, which that is the thought, if we are to reduce the importation by 25%, we must increase production, right? So in the absence of the machinery to prepare these lands, right, it's going to be a challenge because, for example, presently farmers having problems getting their land prepared. And if the government wants to go and focus on a particular production, they will need machinery to prepare those lands, to give that project preference. So when the one machine that we have presently is taken away from the community to focus on a particular project, then the rest of the community is left in limbo.
Kind of like you cutting your nose and spoiling
your head. So we need machinery around that we can have multiple projects being executed at the same time.
So the focus of the consortium right now is to push for more machineries?
It's to be a voice for the community.
Okay.
That is just one of the
aspect,
major problems in the community right now, land preparation. So I just use that as an example. You see what I'm saying? So the consortium would want to push for some support for the private operators, like the individuals say, forget the government. Right? Okay, you provide concession. Okay, let me get some concession in place for the private operators so they could have some tires in stock, a few parts in stock, whether something on the fuel. You know what I mean? So that they could be a little more.
So then they in turn now can rent it to the farmers, and the farmers get their land prepped, and then
they do provide service. For example, farmers will tell you, "Are you working with everybody?"
Precisely.
Whoever come. Because I would pay my money at agriculture and got to wait 3 months. I would pay the private man.
And at the end of the day, we all suffering.
Yeah, we still
because we still lacking the crop.
Exactly. So, and as one farmer to say, you know what, a disappointment it is for you celebrating birthday and you're going to an establishment hoping to get something like a pineapple, a tomato, and your burger. And you go there tonight for your birthday and the man telling you, you ain't got no tomato, you ain't got no pineapple. You know how you, the customer, gonna feel? But that goes all the way back to the
ripple
farmer.
effect.
That's what I'm saying. It goes all the way back to the farmer. So if the farmer does not have what he needs, then he cannot be consistent, and then hence the businessman cannot be consistent either. So
Hand wash hand.
Yeah, we had a good discussion this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, enlightening.
Nice. You have to come back and visit us.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
I keep saying I got to come and do a personal program.
See, but look at that. We have farm report every Wednesday.
Come as a farmer.
All right then.
And thing. But as I say, we in a place where people are petty. And as I say, on both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
So somebody gonna say, what am I doing here? I should be there.
You gotta tread lightly.
You see where I'm coming from. So,
fair enough.
but at the end of the day, I for agriculture 100%. I on both sides, so I.
And I think that's the key
help,
thing.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's agriculture.
Both sides. You see what I'm saying? Because the government has its role to play, and the farmers have their role to play. And without the proper communication between there, is gonna be a conflict.
Always.
So I just try my best to encourage strength, togetherness within the sector, because we need it.
Yeah, and for if there's an issue, it's important to voice that concern. I don't think anybody should be afraid to speak out on issues that face them.
Because how else will people know that this is what's affecting you and to
But
help?
we here in St. Kitts, we can't see beyond colors, because, for example, at the end of the day still though, you don't know where your food coming from, whether it's a red man, a blue man, a yellow man, an orange man.
I don't even consider that.
I
Once
know,
it's food.
food is food,
Yeah, we
and
don't
food security
consider
is
that,
important to all of
but
us.
when
yes.
it comes down to the vibes now, in the whole operation, we don't know that. But yeah, if a yellow man, he not get you. If a red man, he not get you, because orange and
those
them
things need to
Better
stop.
start to
Those
wear
things
white.
need to stop.
Yes, sir.
Those
You
things
better
need to
start
stop.
to wear
Everyone
white.
should be able to.
But you're wearing what? You
Neutral.
still now wear me color, you know.
Everybody should be able to support whoever they want
Food
to
is
support.
food at the end of the day.
And then at the end of the day, we
yeah.
just come together, because you can't support the same thing. Is everybody's diversity?
Everybody got their own vibe, you check,
Yeah.
but
we all have
when
to
it comes to food, you know what I mean, you can't watch that, because at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, food got to eat. And you want to tell me, say, because you red,
Mm-hmm.
and the watermelon come from a yellow man. You don't want a watermelon again?
Nonsense.
You can bring it.
Yes.
For real.
But the
It's
people operate
insane.
like
That
that.
is madness.
Yes.
Huh?
Operate
For
like
real.
that.
And you
real.
would think that we would have learned some things from COVID.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this is one of the reasons why we created this
People-
program,
people
to
just- people
give
just
this
vex.
sector a voice.
People, they glad for COVID, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the sad thing about it is that you don't have to work, but you can't go away. That was the
You might as well go to work.
So that's why people would have preferred. You see what I'm saying? Because the
madness,
fact
but
about
yes.
it is like, a home, yes, I'm glad a home. But you can't go away. You
Okay.
can't go by the go.
Lionel,
Right?
Lionel gonna run you just now.
Thank
But,
you so much
but
for
before you
coming
go,
in today.
quickly, just your quick take on the agricultural exhibition. I'm assuming you got to go, right?
Yeah, well, for me, personally, right, I don't think I should say it here. But over the years, right, I find that we need to get a highlight, a pull factor. You know what I mean? For the past few years, the selling point been sugar band, and the bands they're gonna be at the open day to get people.
As opposed to agriculture.
My personal vibe, yeah.
So the kids,
really?
the students, he had a lot of people there, sugar band.
But the vibes is we need to reach to where we can have something agricultural to market, to pull people. Like, for example, an artificial insemination, a demonstration, live demonstration of artificial insemination. You know what I mean? It may sound simple, Like, these are things we talk about every year.
What I can say is use your voice
You know what I
in the
mean?
consortium.
But that's what I'm saying. But I even trying to tell the farmers, the ministry does that in hopes to showcase what is happening in the sector.
Right.
Right?
So now it's up to you guys
So I'm
to
saying now
bring it.
it's for the sector, the
Mhm.
community, to do their own version as well.
Agreed.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Agreed.
The government does it,
Mhm.
but the community
Must embrace
still
it
can
and then
do
carry it.
their own
What I can
version.
say now that I know that you guys are working ardently to build up this consortium, use that. Let that be a motivation.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Just before I go though, there are a few activities happening this month
Okay.
as part of International Day of Cooperatives, which is the first Saturday in July.
Okay.
Right? International Day of Cooperatives. There's supposed to be an agro strip and music festival Thursday.
Okay.
There's going to be a church service. There's going to be an address by the minister. And there's going to be, how to put it, a membership drive in terms of the cooperative.
Yes.
Trying to express what a cooperative is, benefits, and so forth. So that activity is actually happening on International Day of Cooperative itself, which is actually the anniversary of the reopening of the Sandy Point market by the Sandy Point Agricultural Cooperative.
Okay.
Nice.
You should get Azard to be a mango spokesman.
Mango spokesman. well, you said that, and just put a plug for Nevis. Mango Festival coming up this month end. Yeah, try and check it out. I've been there before. I've been featured on the poster already too. So
You have to go down and check it out.
Yeah, and very soon we may be having our own
Mango Festival?
I don't want to say festival, even though using
Yeah.
festival, but our own version of that. So
Nice.
I
I
look
can't wait
forward
to
to
see
that.
what you guys come up
No,
with.
mango melee?
This, oh Lord.
Mango mess.
Mango mess.
Thank you so much for coming in today. Have a good
Lionel,
one.
this was great.
Awesome.
This is
Yes.
great. And you know, this is exactly why you realize the program was ostensibly supposed to be an hour.
Yeah.
And then we cut it down to a half hour. A provisional half hour, and if there's extra stuff. But yeah, this is a good example. No, Lionel, I was saying, he'd already taken off his headphones. What I was saying, when we started the farm report, it was supposed to be an hour because we knew every time we spoke agriculture, we got a lot of calls and a lot of engagement. But then we had to cut it back to a provisional half hour, meaning, half an hour. But if things got interesting, you go over. So you again pointed out why. I mean, looking at the clock, it's 53 minutes of farm report.
I didn't realize it's
so it's because because it's always an engaging topic.
It's 9:55
So I
already.
think you guys are on the right path.
Yes.
Just need to keep at it.
Yeah, well, Virginia, farming is a faith. It's just like a spiritual vibe. It's something that you got to have faith with. I try to explain to
It's like cooking.
I try to explain to persons like this.
That food guy.
In comparison to cooking and selling, right? Cooking and selling, you go to the supermarket, you buy something in a matter of 3 to 4 hours.
You have a product, right?
Ready to make money. But with farming now, you have 6 weeks, 3 months, 9 months, 6 months, those type of wait.
Faith and
before
patience.
you can actually see produce to make money.
Yeah.
So you got to get faith. Patience.
Okay.
Tolerance.
We'll take a quick break. And
take
come
a quick
back.
break. And we have the police press conference coming up at 10, but
awesome.
we can chat about that.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, let's take a quick break.
Found the sound 98.9. WINNMedia FM.
Magnum. Take charge, take charge, take charge, take charge, take charge, take. Everybody put your Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, let me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum and when me have in a me hand there. He are a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah, yeah. Right now a Magnum a for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Three minutes until 10 o'clock, Island Tea Time. We've got the police force is going to be having a press conference. Should start around 10 o'clock. So, we're gonna do a little rap. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, it's been an interesting morning. We talked about these.
I missed 30 minutes on when I came in. Everything was just. Did you apologize for me?
Yes,
You
I
forgot.
did. No, I did. I did say that you had an engagement, and so you.
Thank you.
I did. I had
feel
your back.
like I missed 30 minutes and it's like, what?
Yeah.
I feel like I missed an hour.
It was very intensive for the first,
Good job, though. You guys did a good job.
Thank you. And I'm told that there's supposed to be a police press conference at 10 o'clock, so I look forward to that.
Definitely.
I mean, something needs to be done in terms of arresting the situation.
Man, I think that everybody needs to put on their thinking caps. I think that, like I said yesterday, it needs to be a holistic approach. It should not just be the police and the politicians. Involve everybody because everybody sees it from a different perspective and everybody has different information.
Exactly.
So,
and I am hoping
maybe we
that
need a town hall or something.
It's going to be a success because at the end of the day we have to try our best in order to curb what is happening now.
Yeah,
you understand?
16 on the 6th.
Yeah.
That's not good
Oh,
enough.
wow. 16 on the 6th, yeah.
That's not good enough.
You
I
know,
think that's way more than what we had in a whole year in 2022.
Yeah.
So,
and in 2021, it's been a while since we had this, so it's just a rusty problem. And, for me, I just thought that, the presentation that the Prime Minister gave yesterday, I felt that, he could have been a bit, I was feeling, I'd kind of disconnect. For me,
I was trying to figure
so
out.
no one attacks me. I feel like it could have been a bit more, after 16 murders,
I was wondering if he was in shock because I know that he knew one of the guys personally, right? Well, just from what I know, but I don't know if he knew any of the others. And then the last one just happened like 5 minutes before he was scheduled to talk. And I was in shock. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it's 5 minutes before the PM is supposed to talk.
Really?
And this happens.
Yeah, remember he was supposed
it was
to
like
speak at
2:55 and then...
Yeah, he was supposed to speak at 3 p.m. and then he went down
so
to
I'm thinking
3:30.
he's probably in shock, just like the rest of us. Like, what in God's name is going on, right?
Yeah, I don't
so
know.
let's wait and see what happens.
Let's see what happens. I was more expecting, some more, some.
But then at the same time, what else could you possibly say in that space of time, given what had just occurred, and knowing that you kind of have to come with answers, but because you weren't prepared for what just happened 5 minutes before your speech, so now that it has kind of sank in, let's see what.
Let's see.
What
I
they come
was
up
just
with.
talking about a little more empathy, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so-
hoping to definitely get a bit more today.
Okay, guys, we're gonna have to leave because
It's starting?
they've started.
Awesome.
I think the-
Okay,
Let's do this.
let's go.
Have a good one today,
Tune
everyone.
in, guys. Let's see what the Prime Minister and the press, police press, has to say.
Okay.
different. We're 98.9. 98.9.